Hey artists! Today we are going to be making a leaf rubbing collage. So for this, you are going to need to go and collect some leaves. You can just go in your backyard or in your front yard and just pick a couple of leaves off of some of the trees. If you have any like really interesting looking ones, that makes it even better. So kind of go on a little nature walk and pick some leaves, and then come on back and we'll get started on our project. You need paper, crayons, scissors, and glue. All right, bye-bye. All right, I am back from my nature walk and I have collected a variety of different kinds of leaves. These are my favorite ones. I think that these are maple leaves. I really like the way that these are shaped. They're really pretty and interesting. So in Texas, our leaves don't change colors as much as they do in other parts of the country. Most of the leaves just stay green year round. The maple leaves, I believe, do start changing colors and they fall off. And you can see how it's already started on the edges to change to orange and a little yellow, but the rest of these will stay green. We are going to do our rubbings using warm colors. So the warm colors on the color wheel are the colors that make you think of hot things like the sun or fire, and those colors are reds, oranges, and yellow. So those are what we are going to use to make our rubbing. Now, to make a rubbing, it's really cool. All you need is a piece of paper, your leaves, and some crayons. Okay, I'm gonna start my first rubbing with an orange crayon, and I'm gonna do my maple leaf. So I'm going to put my maple leaf underneath, and I'm gonna set my paper on top of it, and I'm going to rub my crayon. Now see how I'm using the side of my crayon? Even if you have peeled crayons and you can just rub it over, that works even better. But it helps just to use the side. I'm laying the crayon as much on its side as I can. And look what's happening. You can see the leaf underneath. Can you see the lines? You can see all of the veins and all of the details of the leaf. And I'm gonna press a little bit harder so I can see it even better. All right, there is my first leaf. That is so cool. Now, another word that I want to talk about is something called texture. Texture is the way that something feels. So this leaf feels a little bit rough. It's got all those veins in it that create roughness to it. So this is real texture because I can feel the roughness. But when I do my rubbing, it still looks like it's rough, but it's not. It's actually smooth. We call this visual texture because it looks like it has texture to it. It looks like it's kind of rough and bumpy, but it's not. This one has the real texture. This one is just visual texture. Visual means that you can see it, but you can't feel it. Okay, and we'll talk more about that later. All right, let me do my next leaf. I'm gonna put that one in a different spot, and I'm going to use yellow for this one. Once again, I'm putting my crayon as much on the side as I can. Oh, I think my crayon had a little bit of black on it. That's okay. All right, there is leaf number 2. All right, that one's a little bit harder to see. You can see it up a little bit better up close. How about this one? I'm gonna use brown to do this one because the leaves do change to brown before they fall off the trees. Ooh, that one turned out nice. Look at that. Okay, I love the maple leaf so much. I'm gonna do the smaller one over here, and I'm gonna use my darker orange. It's kind of a red orange to do this one. It's almost like magic. It just appears on the paper. Oh, that one overlapped a little bit. That's okay. All right, there's that one. And then I have room for another one. Let's do, this one's kind of a cool shape. Kind of looks like a heart. And let me use red for this one. All right. All right, there we go. So now I've got all of my leaf rubbings. So if you want, you can just leave it like this, and you could color in. I'd like to use cool colors for the background just because it'll make it pop out. Cool colors are the colors that remind us of water, like, and trees, like greens, blues, purples. So you could just take your crayon and color around the leaves with a cool color if you would like, or if you want to take it a step further and make a collage, which is what I'm gonna do, you could cut out your leaves and then glue them onto another sheet of paper, which you can color the paper. I'm gonna make a texture rubbing on the other piece of paper with cool colors, and I'll show you in a second how I'll do that. And then I'm gonna glue my leaves on. So I'm gonna pause this video for a second so I can get my leaves cut out, and then I'll show you what the next steps are. All right. Okay, so I'm back and I have cut out all of my leaves, and now I'm going to do a background. Now I want my background to have to make it look, I want my background to look like it has texture. So I found a piece of cardboard that's a little bit bumpy. And you know what I thought would be a great idea is if you could even go out and put your paper on a tree and do a rubbing on a tree. But I'm gonna do it on my cardboard for right now because it'll be too hard for me to videotape me doing that on a tree. So I'm peeling back. I'm using a blue crayon because blue is a cool color and I want my warm colors to really pop out against my cool colors. And now I'm taking the side of my crayon and I'm just rubbing it on the cardboard, and you can use any bumpy surface if you want. This is working pretty well. See how you can see the texture when I'm rubbing my crayon over it. And I might even add, let's see, let's do a darker blue also, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Kind of peeling away my crayon. This is fun. All right, so now I have my background, and all that I have to do now is glue my leaf rubbings onto my background, and I have to just kind of figure out a nice composition, a nice way to place them so that it looks nice and balanced. There we go. All right, and then I will just glue them down and I'm done. I hope you guys had fun with this, and remember, visual texture is when it looks like it has texture, but it's actually really smooth. Real texture is when it is actually bumpy, but visual texture is when it looks like it has texture, but it's actually really smooth. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you post this on Seesaw, and if you want to put it on the Flipgrid, that would be great too. I love seeing your work. Bye, artists. So one more quick thing that I wanted to share is that after I glued my leaves down, they weren't really popping out as much as I would like for them to be. They were kind of blending in with the background. So I just took a black crayon and I went around each of my leaves. So you don't have to do that, but if your leaves are kind of blending into your background and you want them to pop out a little bit more, then take a dark colored crayon and trace around them. All right, bye guys.